Good morning, students. So, as we move on, till here we have discussed with how a perfect crystal looks like, and what are the coordination number it is having, and what are the effective numbers it is having, and how exactly we can calculate the atomic packing factor and atomic packing factor for different crystal structures. Okay, and we have seen how we can calculate the relationship between the different lattice parameters regarding a crystal structure and the density of a crystal when the lattice parameters are given using a formula rho is equal to Na divided by N into A, okay, by using a atomic weight and a Avogadro's number. So now we'll see, as a perfect crystal the atoms are there in a proper arrangement, but suppose we want to have a what you call addition of alloying elements into that one. Okay, so whenever we want to have a addition of alloying elements to a particular metal, okay, we need to have a free space within the metal. Okay, so in order to have that free space, okay, so that is what we have seen it in the APF, that is atomic packing factor. So when you take to the simple cube, so we say it's a 52%, so remaining 48% is a free, and when it comes to the BCC we have a 68, the remaining 32 percentage is a free, and when it comes to the FCC and HCP it is a 74, remaining 26 percentage is a free space. Means in those free spaces we can accommodate different atoms which are having a less space or a less radii compared to those spaces. Okay, that free space in the crystal, we call those things as a free void, or we can call those things as a interstitial regions. Okay, so what are those interstitial regions? Okay, or if a atom is missing from its place, so there will be a void creation, or in other words we call it as a vacancy. So how those things are going to helpful in managing the properties of a metal, we'll see in coming slides. Okay, so this these whatever the category, we call those things as a crystal imperfections. Okay, so whenever there is a perfect crystal, if you take an example of a cubic crystal, so we are going to have a perfect crystal means a simple cube like this. Okay, and there will be 8 atoms, so one here, one 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 and 1. So this is what is a perfect crystal means. So whenever we say a crystal which is having a defects means so this atom will be missing from its place. So now we can find only 7 atoms in the crystal, so one atom is missing, means there is a vacancy in that crystal, means an external atom which is added to this one can come and occupy this space. Okay, occupy this space. So when it is going to occupy this space, so when the external atom should be equal to the atomic radii of this one, when the size of the parent atom, this is what is called parent atom, this is what is called as a foreign atom, when these atomic radii are same, then it can replace or it can occupy this vacancy. Okay, so that void. If not, what will happen? If this atomic radii is a small one, if this atomic radii is a small one, so whatever the free space we talked about in a APF, at that time this atom can come and occupy this space, that is the space between these three atoms, these three atoms, or these three atoms. Okay, like that. So whatever the space which is there in between the atoms, that can be occupied by these foreign atoms. Okay, so that depends on the the size of the foreign atom. If it is a small, it can occupy the interstitial position. So if it is a same, it can substitute or it can occupy the vacancy. Okay. Okay. So just to move on, we say metals are not perfect in neither at a macroscopic level or a microscopic level. They will be having one or the other defects. Like what we say, a human being is not perfect in all respect. Okay, in one or the other way, he will be having some defects. Okay, either he will be short in his length or weak in his strength. Okay, or maybe he is low weight, something like that. Okay, one or the other way is not perfect, 100% perfect. So same thing will apply to the metals also, where we are going to have a metals with the defects. Oh, defect in a metal is a something like a mandatory. Okay, so defects are important in many process. That is what I said. Okay, so whenever we are going to have an alloy, okay, so creating an alloy or modification in the property, okay, so at that time these defects are going to play an important role in manipulating the properties of metals. Okay, so how exactly we are going to create a defects? It is either by a diffusion or a deformation. Okay, so diffusion means it is something like an injection. Okay, so you are going to inject the metal atoms into the other one, something like a foreign atoms are injected to a present parent metal. If not, deformation. So deformation is something like so you are going to deform that metal, okay, plastically or elastically to increase or decrease the defects. Okay, how exactly? We'll see it one by one. Okay, so when we have a imperfection, the types of imperfections in a solid, we first category we call as a point imperfections. Okay, so in a point imperfection is something like as I said already. So if I have a cube, okay, again if I have a cube, so I will be having a 8 atoms. I will be having a 8 atoms. So if any one of the atom is missing from this place, it creates a void, I said. So that is what is a vacancy. Okay, so how exactly? So how exactly it will be? So that can be seen like this. Okay, so this is a perfect crystal where we are going to have a AB arrangement. Okay, so when we say there is a vacancy, the vacancy will be created like this. Means here we have a red color. So here the red color atom is missing. Okay, so that is what. If not, if the blue color atom is missing, means so if you are going to see this as a perfect crystal, this as a perfect crystal, if the number of atoms which are there at their particular site is missing from its place, either here or anywhere, that is what we are going to call it as a vacancy. Okay, so that's how exactly we call that one as a zero dimensional defect. Okay, so that's what is a vacancy. Okay, so now, so in that one we are going to have a interstitial, substitutional and electronic defects. So interstitial, as already said, if the atomic radii, if the atomic radii is lesser than the parent one, so then it can occupy the interstitial position. So if not, if the atomic radii is equal to the parent atom, then that one is called as a substitutional atom. Okay, so then electronic defects are something like a ionic one. Okay, so where we are going to have a ionic crystals, either a Frankel or maybe Schottky. What are those things? We'll see. Okay, the first category in the imperfections is a point imperfections. In that one, these are the types, and those things are termed as a zero dimensional defects. Okay, so next one, so we are going to say the next category as a line imperfections are one dimensional. So we already know whenever we say a line means it can be drawn like this. Okay, so only the length of that one will be defined. So it's a one dimensional defect. Okay, so in that one we are going to have a an edge dislocation and a screw dislocation. So what are those things? We'll see now. See, a line or a edge dislocation is something like an extra pair of atom. You can see here, this is a extra pair. Or if this is a continuous atomic plane, means a part of the atomic plane is missing from its place. That is what is happened here. Okay, so there was a plane here. So now this plane is missing from its place, or if there is a perfect crystal, insertion of this half of a plane will create a distortion in this one. Okay, so that also we can term it as a line dislocation or a edge dislocation. Okay, so now one more category in that one is a screw dislocation. A screw dislocation is something like a, so a part of the crystal is displaced. It is something like a what you call pushing your cards. Okay, so if I have a one card here and one more card above that one means like this. So I am going to displace this above card with respect to the red one by this much. Okay, this will be here only, but this will be placed like this. Okay, so it is placed deplaced from here to here. Okay, displaced from here to here. Okay, so this is what we call as a screw dislocation. Screw dislocation means a part of the crystal is displaced with respect to the other part. Okay, so it will be like a one box itself. It will be like a one box, but when we are going to apply shear force like this, okay, a part of the crystal will move from here to here, but the base will be here only. Only part will move. Okay, so that is what we term it as a screw dislocation. Okay, so anyway, we'll see all those things in detail again in the coming slides. Okay, so the next category will be surface imperfections. Okay, so surface imperfections are two dimensional, means so you are going to discuss the defects with respect to the x and y. Okay, so in that one we are going to have a grain boundaries, tilt boundaries, twin boundaries, and stacking faults. Okay, so what are those things actually? Okay, so whenever we move away from an atom, so first thing what we talked about only one atom. Next thing we talked about a line of atom. So now we are talking about a group of atoms. We are talking about a group of atoms. So this is what I called as a grain. This is a one grain. Okay, so this is a one more grain, and this is a one more grain. You can see it here. The orientation of the grains are different. They are not oriented in a single direction. Okay, the orientation of that one is different. Okay, so like that, whenever there is a change in the orientation, so it gives rise to different defects. So how exactly? So we'll see one by one in coming slides. So the next one is a volume imperfections. Okay, that those things are three-dimensional. Okay, example for those things are cracks, inclusions, blowholes, and all. So these things we already know whenever we are going to do the welding or a casting. Okay, so those things will appear like this. Okay, so this is the caster structure. So you can see these things, this one, okay, or this one, or all this structure, okay, or this one are blowholes, or these may be small cracks. Okay, so these things are due to the improper cooling of the liquid metal. Okay, so those things we termed as a volume imperfections. Okay, so in your syllabus, so we are not going to discuss about the volume imperfections, but we will discuss these point, line, and surface imperfections in detail in a coming slides. Okay, so now as we say a point defect, so already we have said in a point defects we have two categories. Okay, so one, a non-ionic crystal and a ionic crystal. So when it comes to the non-ionic crystal, the first defect as a point we called as a vacancy. So what I said, a vacancy is nothing but an atom is missing from its place. Okay, so this is what is a vacancy. So if it is a perfect crystal, you might have seen one atom here. Okay, so whenever we say there is a vacancy, vacancy means an atom missing from its place. Okay, so that's how exactly we say an vacancy. Okay, so next we call one more defect as a impurity. So impurity means, as I said, if I have a perfect crystal, in that one we are going to add a foreign elements. Foreign elements means, so either it may occupy the interstitial like this. So this is what I said, interstitial. Okay. So if the size of the foreign atom is lesser, it will easily occupy the this is what is interstitial position, easily occupy the interstitial position. If the size of that foreign atom is more, so it will create a distortion in the parent metal. Okay, distortion in the parent metal, so that will create a more distortion in the parent metal, but this will create a less distortion in the parent metal. Means the free space between the atoms is called as a interstitial position, and when a foreign atom occupies that space, we call that as a interstitial impurity. Interstitial impurity. Okay, so the next one, we call that one as a substitutional. Okay, so what exactly is substitutional? So it is something like a, there are 11 players, okay, in a cricket team. Okay, a substitution player is an one extra atom, okay, like a one extra player. So whenever it is required, we are going to replace one player with that extra player. So the same thing will apply here also. Okay, so this is a small solute atom which is going to, or a foreign atom which is going to substitute this parent atom, or this is a large foreign atom which is going to substitute the parent atom. You can see the changes here. Okay, so here it is going to try to push these atom away, like this, like this, like this and all, but here it is going to pull these whatever the atoms. Okay, okay, so like that. So means here we are going to have a compressive strength, here we are going to have a tensile strength. Okay, so like that. So this is what exactly we are going to term those things as a substitute impurities, or a substitutional impurity. Okay, so when it comes to the non-ionic crystal, so we have a defect called a Frankel and a Schottky. You might have studied these things in a chemistry. Okay, so what exactly a Frankel defect means? Okay, a Frankel defect means, see, whenever we talk about an ionic crystal, we will be having a cation and a anion. Okay, so whenever a an ion missing from its place, and it is found somewhere else in the ionic crystal. Okay, it is not missing, okay, away from the ionic crystal, it is missing from its place, but it is found within the ionic range. Okay, but if you take the Schottky defect, a pair of cation and anion are missing. Okay, they can be found inside the ionic crystal, or they may not be there. Means if you observe here, the number of cation, okay, will be equal to the number of anions. Means they should maintain the what you call electron neutrality or a charge neutrality in the ion. The same thing will apply here. Okay, so if a cation and an anion missing, it will not affect the ratio between the cation and the anion. Okay, if it is found also, the number will remain same. If it is missing also, the number will remain same. Means so whenever an ion is missing from its place, a single ion, that is a Frankel defect, it should be found within the ion in order to maintain the number of cation and the number of anion ratio equal. Okay, and in the Schottky also, if it is going to have a pair of anion and a cation missing from its place, it should be found, or it may be missing from its place. Okay, so these are the point defects. Okay, so one is a vacancy. Okay, one is a impurity. In the impurity, we are going to have an interstitial and a substitutional. So interstitial means the space between the atoms is occupied by a foreign atom. Substitution means a foreign atom is going to replace the parent atom. And in the ionic crystal, we have a Frankel and a Schottky. The main intention of these defects means to have a electron neutrality. Means if an ion is missing from its place, it should be found within the ionic range. Okay, so in the Schottky, a pair of ions will be missing. It may be found, or it may not be found within the crystal. Okay, so that is what we have said here. So imperfect means a point like regions in a crystal. Okay, the extent of distortion, however, extend to a larger distance depending upon the size of the foreign atom. Okay, so point defects can be created or with the addition or removal of the atoms. Okay, so defect structures in ionic crystal can be more complex. Okay, so those are the things what we are going to see it in the things. Okay, so now again in detail, so what is a vacancy, a missing atom? Okay, so whenever it misses out or escapes out of its place, it gives rise to the stresses in the field. Okay, so based on the position of the vacancy, it may be a random or maybe a harder. Okay, so this is how exactly a vacancy is created. Okay, so this vacancy is very useful in a diffusion. Okay, so in the diffusion of atoms, so these things are going to play an important role. And what we said in the previous slide, say these things are going to play an important role. These are going to play an important role in a quenching, okay, or a bombardment of high energy particles, or a plastic deformation, or a of stoichiometry in a ordered compounds. Okay, say if you're going to have a surface heat treatments and all, so in that one these things are going to play an important role. So this is what is a interstitial. Okay, so this is a substitutional. Okay, you can give an example like a, so for a substitutional it is a copper and nickel, where copper and nickel atoms are having a same radii. And for interstitial, okay, so a foreign atom, that is a carbon, is going to occupy the interstitial position in the FCC of a iron, or a BCC of a iron. Okay, so that's how exactly it is going to create. Means, so whenever you are going to explain these things for a 6 to 8 marks, better if you give a example. Okay, those things will be considered as a important things. Okay, means, so when it comes to the impurity, when we are going to add a foreign atom, either it is a interstitial or maybe a substitutional one. Okay, so in the ionic crystal, as we said, a Frankel defect, an ion missing from its place, and it can be found. Okay, so best example is a AgCl. Okay, so AgCl, where it is going to be displaced from its place, and it is found somewhere else in the atom. Okay, Schottky defect, a pair of the ions. Okay, so you can see like a missing anion, missing cation. It may be found or it may not be found. Okay, normally we are going to find those things in the alkali alloys. Okay, so many a times they may ask that one with the 6 to 8 marks. Okay, so explain the point defects with a neat sketch. So at that time you can say like a vacancy, impurity, in the impurity interstitial substitutional, and in a ionic defects you can explain a Frankel and a Schottky with the simple sketches. Okay, so next one is line defects. Okay, so line, in the line defects, as I said, it is a one dimensional defects. So in that one we'll talk about the first one as a edge dislocation. So edge dislocation, you can see the animation here. See, when it is a perfect crystal, okay, so it looks like this. So when we are going to insert a plane of atom here, okay, so it is going to create a distortion. Okay, so if I want to move this off of a plane to the end to leaving a perfect crystal, I need to apply a shear force like this, like this. Okay, then this, whatever the red color plane of atom, will move to the end, leaving behind a perfect crystal, leaving behind a perfect crystal. So how exactly it will be visible, you can see it like this. Okay, so this was a perfect crystal, so we have inserted this plane of atom. Okay, so we can move this plane of atom to the end, leaving a perfect crystal like this with the help of a shear force, with the help of a shear force. Okay, so means, say when we are going to insert a plane of atom here. Okay, so these atoms are moved away and these atoms are moved towards each other. Okay, means, these atoms tries to occupy their original position. Okay, original position means like this, means there will be a opposite a tensile force. These atoms tries to come together like this. Okay, so there will be a compressive force. Okay, means, so when we are going to insert a of a plane of atom, of a plane of atom, okay, so it will create a alternate a compressive and a tensile forces above and below the dislocation line. What is dislocation line? So this is the line, dislocation line. So above and below. Okay, means a line which is going to define that dislocation. So we are going to call it as a dislocation line. So above and below that one, the atoms are going to experience alternate compression and tensile stresses. Okay, so now, so we can see this one. Okay, so if it is a perfect crystal, you can see 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, 1 2 3 4 and 5. So 6 atoms like this. Okay, and 5 atoms like this. So you are going to have 1 2 3 4 5 6. So there are 6 line of a atom, or you can say 6 plane of atoms. So if you are going to take anywhere, if you take a 2 2 2 2 and all, so all the sides are equal here. All the sides are equal here. So that is indicated like this. Okay, so A B C D. So means A is equal to B is equal to C is equal to D, means all the sides are equal. So now imagine this plane of atom is missing. Okay, you can see here two atoms, that is a one plane, are missing from its place now. Okay, so now if I'm going to drop a line here, okay, or a square here, so means this is 2, so this is 2, okay, this is also 2, but this is not 2. Why? Because one atom or one plane of atom is missing. Okay, so here we'll get a 2, here we'll get a 2, here we'll get a 2, but here we'll get a 1, means it is not equal. So at that time we can find what is the magnitude of the missing plane. It is a 1. What is the direction in which the atoms are missing? So we are going to say this is the direction. Okay, so the vector which is going to give the magnitude and direction of the dislocation, we call that one as a Burger vector. Burgers, Burgers vector. A Burgers vector is the one which gives the magnitude and direction of the line dislocation. So here it's a edge dislocation. So how exactly we're going to find so if it is a perfect crystal, so all the sides will be equal. Okay, so if there is a termination of a plane of atom within the crystal, then any one plane of the or any one side will be shorter. Okay, so the direction and magnitude is defined with the Burgers vector. So you can see it here. So here 2, okay, 2, here it's a 1, here it's a 2. Okay, so means here this plane of atom is terminating here. So you can see the symbol like this, perpendicular symbol. So that is something like a positive edge dislocation. So if the same thing happens reverse, okay, if the plane of atom is missing here, okay, so then the symbol will be T, that is a negative edge dislocation. Okay, so hope you understood that one. So perfect crystal, perfect square, a plane of atom is missing, so we are going to get this vector. Okay, so that vector we are going to call as a Burger vector. So where the direction and magnitude, that is the direction is a CA, we are going to write the vector like this. Okay, so magnitude is a 1, so that can be seen here also, and the positive dislocation is a perpendicular symbol, negative dislocation is a T symbol. Okay, so that's what exactly we're going to see the edge dislocation. To see the characteristics, we can just read like a linear defects are a one dimensional defect that cause a misalignment of nearby atoms. Okay, so those things are primarily associated with the mechanical deformation. So how exactly we say a extra off plane of atom inserted in a crystal, or a plane of atom will be abruptly terminating within the crystal. So to find the magnitude and the direction of a dislocation, that is a dislocation, so we are going to use a Burgers vector. A Burger vector is a one which gives the magnitude and a direction. So we can see it here also again. Okay, so a insertion of a plane which will move with the shear force to the end. Okay, so here we can see around the a plane of atoms, there will be a localized distortion. That is what I said. There will be a alternate compression and tensile stresses, and this is represented with the perpendicular symbol for a positive and a T for a negative, and a dislocation line is a line which differentiate the extra plane of atoms with the perfect crystal. Okay, so how exactly the motion will appear? As I said, so it is going to move from either left to the right or right to the left with the help of applying a shear force. Okay, so these atoms will be having a particular interatomic distance. It is not going to move a fraction of atoms. Okay, so next, when it comes to the screw dislocation, okay, so screw dislocation, as already I said, if you have a box, a part of the box, that is a part of the crystal, is what you call displaced with respect to the other part. So in order to create that one, so we are going to apply a shear force or a tensile force. Okay, so you can see it here. Okay, so this is the line of dislocation. Okay, and here the symbol will be clockwise or a anti-clockwise symbol. Okay, so if it is a clockwise, we say it's a positive screw dislocation. If it is a negative, so then it will be anti-clockwise in the nature. So here we are not going to talk about a one plane, so it is a part, we say. Okay, so and here the atoms are going to move with a fraction, not a one interatomic. So how exactly, we'll see. Okay, so this is with the shear force, and always this will be parallel to the dislocation line. So now if you consider here, okay, so we are going to consider this plane of atoms, and if you're going to draw a Burger vector, so we are going to get like this. You can see 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 and 1 2 3. So means all the things are equal. But now when it is replaced here, you can see this one. Okay, when a part of the crystal is replaced, so here you are going to get a 3 3 3. Okay, but here a part of the crystal is replaced, so here we are going to get only the 2. Okay, so it will be getting here, so means a part of that one will be less. And again we are going to use the Burger vector to find the direction and magnitude of this one. Okay, so it is from x to y, the direction is x to y. Again it's a fraction of the atomic distance. It is not a here with a one interatomic distance. Okay, so once we know the what exactly a line and a screw dislocation, okay, so now we need to know what is the difference between a edge and a screw dislocation. Okay, at this moment you might be knowing what are the difference we are going to set here. So when it is a edge dislocation, so we say a part of the crystal, a part of the a plane of an atom is discontinued or inserted in the crystal. But when we say a screw dislocation, a part of the crystal is displaced. Here we say plane, here we say a part. Okay, so now here to create edge dislocation, the force is less, just insert and just leave. But when it comes to the screw dislocation, we need to apply a more shear stress in order to create the screw dislocation. And in the edge dislocation, the Burger vector is perpendicular to the dislocation line, but in the screw dislocation, the Burger vector is parallel to the dislocation line. And symbolically, we represent the edge dislocation either a perpendicular or a inverse perpendicular, that is a T symbol, but screw dislocation is showed with a clockwise or a anti-clockwise symbol. Okay, so when it comes to the bonds, okay, so above and below the dislocation line there will be either a tensile or a compressive stresses, but when it comes to the screw dislocation, it is followed with the atomic shear stress. And here the edge dislocation moves faster compared to the screw dislocation, because here a whole part should be moved, so it takes a more time to move. Okay, or it a bit slower, but edge dislocation it moves at a faster rate. Okay, so in this part they may ask explain the edge dislocation with a neat sketch, or explain the screw dislocation with a neat sketch, or they may ask the differentiate between a edge and a screw dislocation. Okay, all these things will be asked for a 6 to 8 marks. Or one more question you can expect from this part is so define Burger vector and explain the Burger vector with the help of a line dislocation. You can choose any one. Either you can choose the edge dislocation or you can choose the screw dislocation. Okay, so that's how exactly we'll end up with the line dislocations. Okay, as we move on, here we'll next we'll take up the surface imperfections. So surface imperfections are a two-dimensional defects in a crystalline solids. So what are those things? So one is a grain boundary. As I said in the previous slide, so as we move on from an atom to a line of atom, then we'll move on to a group of atom. So what exactly a group of atom? A group of atom which are oriented in a different direction, those things we call as a grains. So you can see here different colors, one black and one white and all. So that one this structure, so this one we call as a grain. Okay, so one more grain you can see it here. Okay, so which is oriented in a different direction like that. Okay, so now when you see this one, so if I have this as a one grain and this as a one more grain. Okay, so if you see these things, okay, in a microscope, these things are means the grain boundary is not properly matched, means they are not going to meet exactly like a perfect match. Okay, so there is a space in between the grain boundary, means there are atoms which are going to struck in between these things. Okay, so say for example in between these grains, there are a part of atoms which are going to get squeezed in between that one. Okay, so that part is going to act as a weak point. Okay, so if it is not perfectly aligned, okay, if it is not perfectly merged together, so if there is a void or if there are a few atoms which comes in between the grain boundary, so that region is going to act as a weak point. Okay, and the cracks are going to generate from that part, and the failure of the material is going to take place suddenly. Okay, so those things are grain boundaries. So grain boundaries are the regions of weak atoms. Okay, the atoms which are going to get squeezed at that moment are in between the grain boundary are the weak point to originate the crack or to initiate the failure. Okay, so next is a tilt boundary. Tilt boundary is see, as I said, so this is a one grain. Okay, so this is a one grain which is having a boundary, and this is a one more grain which is having a this boundary. Okay, so tilt boundary is something like if the angle between these grain boundary, so one boundary is like this and one more boundary is like this. So if the angle between these grain boundaries is less than 10 to 15 degree, so that is what we call as a tilt boundary. So tilt boundaries are the region where the angle between two grain boundaries is in between or less than 10 to 15 degree. Okay, so next is a twin boundary. Twinning means of a same kind. Okay, so twinning is so here this is a twinned region or a boundary. So this is one more plane and this is a one more plane. So means if you look carefully, this plane and this plane are a mirror image. Okay, so mirror image with respect to the boundary. Okay, so that is what is a twin boundary. Twin boundary is normally is a phenomenon of plastic deformation, or where we are going to have a plane of atom which is a mirror image of the twinned boundary. Okay, and the last one we are going to have a stacking fault. Stacking fault is something like a stacking is something like a book rack. You can imagine a book rack where you're going to keep the books in a alphabetical order, A, B, C, D, like that and all. Okay, so even in the crystal, so we are going to have a stacks. Okay, so which are arranged in a proper way. So if you take a HCP, which I already discussed, here you can see where we are going to have a one book which is called A and one more book which is called a B, and next again we are going to have a one book which is called A and one book which is called a B. Means in A book we are going to have a six atoms and one atom at the center, and in a B book we are going to have a three atoms, and again in the A we are going to have a six, again in the B we are going to have a three, like that. So if stacking fault means is a one book is missing from its place. Say for example, the B is missing from its place. Now we can write now A, so B is not there. Again I will write A, again I will write B. So again I will write A, again I will write B. So now here if you see the B is missing. So this is what is a stacking fault. Okay, so a B plane of atom is missing from its stack. So what exactly that one? Once again, so we'll see it in a coming slides. So these are the surface imperfections which we can see it here. So as I said, so grind boundaries, it's a region between two crystals. Okay, transition from lattice of a region to the another, and the atoms near the grind boundary of a three grain do not have a equilibrium spacing or arrangement or a slightly disorder. So as I said, this is a one grain, one grain and one more grain. So the region here, these regions are going to have a distorted atoms. If you clearly see, you can see it here. Okay, so there will be a pair of or a number of atoms which are going to struck in between the boundary, and they are going to act as a weak point for grind boundaries. Okay, so when it comes to the tilt boundary, so you can see it here. Okay, so here, so this is a one grain and this is a one more grain. So these are the edge dislocations already which we have discussed, and here now the angle between these things. Okay, so angle between these things, if it is near to 10 to 15 degrees Celsius, so we are going to call that one as a tilt boundaries. Okay, so that is what 10 to 15 degree. Usually this is near to the dislocations. Okay, so next stacking fault. So best example as I said, so HCP, where we are going to have a AB. So if a stacking fault means one of the plane is missing from its place. Okay, so instead of AB, so it will say AAB and all. So now B site is missing from its place. So this is regarding the HCP. So if you take the same with the FCC, so we'll be having ABC. Okay, so ABC means so first in a site we are going to have one atom. Okay, so in one more site we are going to have a triangle like this. Okay, that is a six atoms like this, and in one more plane, so we are going to have a reverse triangle like this. Okay, so just time being I will write this one. So this is A, so this is B, so this is a C, like that. So if any one plane, if this plane is missing, then we'll write A, C, B is missing, C, again I will write A, B, C. Okay, now here, so B site is missing. B side means this triangle is missing, or you can say this triangle is missing from its place. Okay, so that is what is a stacking fault. Normally we observe in